It's a great question to think about how you create great change and what's the mechanism and strategy for that. Obviously, courts, by their very nature, are incremental. It takes a long time. But they have also established a history in our country of being capable of moving things forward that don't move forward in the political system, that don't move forward in other areas of public administration. And so in that respect, I'm not unhappy that we can present something to the Supreme Court or to a court to advance an issue. I'm a product of Brown versus Board of Education. My father grew up in a county where there were no black high schools. The county I grew up in had no black high schools when my dad went to school, and segregation was the dominant reality. I started my education in a colored school, and it was the Supreme Court in Brown that made it possible for lawyers to come in and implement that decision and allow me to go to school. If you'd ever taken a poll of whether the school should be integrated, you would not have gotten majority support for integration in my county. And I doubt that I would have had that opportunity. So sometimes courts have to push society to do things that are fair and equal and just, even when the political space, the majoritarian politics, won't achieve that. And I think in the area of punishment, we're going to see that. And that's why our work in the courts is really, really important. But I'm also persuaded that we have a lot to do to get people outside the court to respect this effort, to embrace this effort. On issues like the death penalty, we are talking a lot more broadly about why the death penalty is unfair. We want people, not just judges and lawyers, to know about this high rate of error. We want people to understand the ways in which poverty undermines your ability to get a just outcome. People in my community say capital punishment means them without the capital get the punishment. And that's an issue for a wide cross-section of our society. And so we are pushing in that sphere as well. Actually, in California in 2012, there was an effort to end the death penalty through a public referendum that almost succeeded. And so I think those kinds of efforts will be important moving forward. I'm writing this book in part because I want to talk to an audience that's not judges and lawyers about a range of issues that I think are important. But I don't really make any apologies about expecting our courts to sometimes do what our political system doesn't do, to demand fairness and equality even when we don't have the political power or the resources to ensure equality and fairness in the political process, in the legislative process. And what I'm most proud of as a lawyer is when systems of justice stand up for the rights of disfavored people, when they protect the marginalized, when they shield people from the animosity of the masses, because it would be unconstitutional to allow that minority to be exploited and victimized and abused. That's when the rule of law really strengthens itself and when the integrity of a judicial system can best be evaluated.